Coming up on Mountain News this morning, several skiers are dead after an avalanche in California. The latest one, the search for one person who's still missing. Plus, a bill that would add stricter barriers on releasing violent criminals is moving forward in Frankfurt. What you should know about Logan's Law.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Welcome to Mountain News This Morning. I'm Neely Green here with you on this Thursday, February 19th. The time is now 4:59, and let's check in with meteorologist Megan Desmond for a look at your forecast this morning. Megan, happy Friday Eve.
Happy Friday Eve to you, and it's a foggy Friday Eve as well. I know when I went out the door this morning, I definitely struggled to see some of the roads, so be careful as you're heading out. Here's a look at that current visibility as it looks right now, especially for the center portions of the region. We're hanging on to some of the lower visibility. So again, add extra time if you need it. Around that same area, we're also looking at rain, which could impact your drive as well. Going to go ahead and pause it for what it's looking like right now and zoom into those areas, seeing some of the heaviest rain as we're heading into portions of Clay County as well as Jackson and Rockcastle County. And then as we're traveling more towards the east in portions of Pike County, that's where we're seeing the heaviest rain, and in portions of Floyd and Magoffin. Temperatures right now, though, really pleasant, a mixture of the low to mid 50s for most folks, seeing some upper 50s still, 59 in Somerset. But by the afternoon, we'll be warming up into the upper 60s and low 70s. Some folks even having a chance of hitting 73 degrees. Neely.
Thank you, Megan. Authorities say they found the bodies of 8 skiers after an avalanche hit near Lake Tahoe Tuesday morning. The Nevada County Sheriff says a 9th skier is still missing but presumed dead. The avalanche hit Tuesday morning as the group of 11 skiers and 4 instructors were returning from a 3-day trek. Emergency beacons helped rescuers find the 6 survivors, 5 women and 1 man. 2 were taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries.
They were sheltered. They had themselves already started, looking for their teammates and their clients that were missing.
While authorities have not released names, the company that led the group, Blackbird Mountain Guides, released a statement saying it is mourning the loss of 6 clients and 3 tour guides. Investigators in the Nancy Guthrie case appear to have hit a wall. Nearly 3 weeks into the search for 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie, the Pima County Sheriff says this disturbing doorbell video of a masked suspect is the only video they've recovered so far. The FBI is visiting gun stores in the area, trying to see if the suspect seen at Guthrie's store bought a gun or even the holster nearby. Meanwhile, investigators are using signal sniffer technology to pick up pings from Guthrie's pacemaker.
Devices, what happens is they transmit every 2 to 3 minutes, and you're able to pick this specific signal up from hundreds of feet away up in the air. You can definitely leverage sensitive tools to home in on this range.
911 dispatchers around Tucson are adapting their questions as they say thousands of calls for tips continue to flood in. The American Academy of Pediatrics is suing the Trump administration for the 3rd time since July. The latest filing challenges a Federal Trade Commission probe into the group's health guidance for transgender youth, calling the investigation, quote, retaliatory and discriminatory. Lawyers claim the government is trying to silence the organization for expressing a viewpoint the Trump administration doesn't like. The Endocrine Society also sued Tuesday over the same investigation onto that organization's support for transgender medical care. FEMA has been ordered to stop all travel for its workers. The Department of Homeland Security issued that Tuesday due to the partial government shutdown affecting the agency. What it means in reality is FEMA, with boots on the ground, can continue their work. But no new workers can help, and deployed employees can't come home until their projects are complete. More than 300 FEMA responders preparing for the assignments have been told to stand down. Lawmakers in Frankfurt met to discuss a bill named after a Kentucky boy who died in his home in 2015. House Bill 422, or Logan's Law, is named after 6-year-old Logan Tipton. A jury found the attacker Ronald Exantis not guilty by reason of insanity in Logan's murder, but he was convicted of assaulting members of Logan's family. Exantis was released from prison on mandatory retention supervision last fall, but was later arrested in Florida for violating the conditions of his release. Supporters of Logan's law says it would make it harder for violent felons to be released from prison. Maggie Rickerby reports.
Dean Tipton sits in the front of the House Judiciary Committee in Frankfurt to make a change in his son's name.
He was a light to my family and to our community.
It's been over a decade since his 6-year-old son, Logan, died in his home. Police say Ronald Exantis killed Logan and stabbed 3 other family members. He was found not guilty by reason of insanity for Logan's murder and guilty but mentally ill for the 3 assaults. Exantis was released last October under mandatory reentry supervision. Now, Dean and 62 co-sponsors want to reform the practice for violent felons. Exantis was rearrested days after his release for violating his probation.
No family should ever have to suffer the fact that their child was not important enough to keep this man behind bars.
One of those co-sponsors is Representative Jason Nemes.
Brother Logan's life matters. It's mattered from the day that he was conceived to the end of eternity. And it matters because he's got a pop who's fighting for him.
If passed, the bill would reform the insanity defense and get rid of split verdicts on mental illness or guilt, like the one Exantis received. Also, it would require consecutive sentencing for violent felons for each victim if there are multiple. Finally, the bill would increase parole eligibility for life sentences from 25 to 35 years.
Some who spoke during the committee meeting had a few issues with the bill. What they say are already slow trials could be delayed further.
Attorneys Scott West and Bailey Truitt say increasing parole eligibility and ensuring consecutive sentences would make plea bargains less appealing, slowing down the process.
If the person is going to look at an automatic 40 or 50 years and they're 30 or 40 years old, they're not going to plead to that.
But Representative Nemes made his point clear.
We don't want these people getting out, ever.
House Bill 422 passed through the Judiciary Committee. Next, it will receive a vote in the House. In Frankfurt, Maggie Rickerby, WKYT.
Another bill lawmakers discussed in Frankfurt was House Bill 455. It was the House Licensing and Occupations Committee. If passed, would prevent therapy and psychological services from using AI to do therapy or to diagnose or to pick out mental illnesses. A slight amendment to the bill would prohibit someone who works in the mental health field, like a psychologist, psychiatrist, to turn on AI and then charge money for that service.
Okay, so I just want a human to interact with other humans when we are dealing with mental illness.
The House bill and its amendment were both approved. It now moves on to the House. A proposed constitutional amendment that would restore the right to vote for most Kentucky felons passed a Senate committee yesterday. Senate Bill 80 would restore voting rights except when the conviction involved treason, some election violations, a crime against a child, or violent sexual offenses. If it gets through the legislature, it would still have to be approved by voters. Senate Bill 47 passed the Kentucky Senate yesterday. The proposed legislation would expand line of duty death benefits to search and rescue team members. Right now, there are no death benefits for those killed in the line of duty. The bill now moves to the House. Thanks for getting your day started with us here on Mountain News This Morning. Governor Andy Beshear is releasing his first book this fall. What does that mean for his political future? Hear his answer for yourself.
And we are tracking showers this morning and storm chances as we're heading overnight.